First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the good practice tonight. Om Beta Pema Om Guru Padma Sambhava. Simo Tanzan Gatso Tuten Siddhi Tuten Kama. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma tutors, temple and center directors, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, how do you do?
Aistero 사랑해 오라미코 깨깨롱 무쳐 스코인 이지와 기모지 주미 야비 뿌링뿌링 고마워.
Good evening. Today we practiced Guru Padmasambhava's deity yoga. Guru Padmasambhava brought Tantric Buddhism into Tibet. The first person who brought Tantric Buddhism into Tibet. So in Tibet, there were the former Dharma propagation period and the latter Dharma propagation period. The former period was led by Guru Padmasambhava and the latter period by Atisha. So the former period was also called the old teaching or the old school, and the latter period was called the new school. Of course, there were many forefathers or lineage gurus such as Guru Padmasambhava was highly revered by all four schools, but primarily the Nyingma-pa, and which has the highest Dharma practice as the Great Perfection Dharma, Dokjen. Next is Kagyupa, and the lineage gurus were also from India, such as Tilopa, Naropa, and then the Tibetan Marpa, Milarepa, Gampopa, and then Karmapasi, which is the first Karmapa. They belong to Kagyupa, the white sect. And Gelugpa was Tsongkhapa, started by Tsongkhapa. That's the yellow sect. And then also the Sakyapa. And we can say it was started by Drokmi Laksawa.
他开始宗密意师的这个他本身所写的。
It was written by Drokmi Lotsawa.
然后花教本身也有这个5个祖师爷。
And Sakyapa also had 5 lineage gurus in the earliest time, in its earliest time.
像很有名的这个
Like the famous Sakyapa forefathers.
八师八吧，是不是？
Was it Pasipa?
八师八也是很有名的一个祖师，一共有5个。
Which is very famous. There were 5 of them.
那红教是最早的，红教是最早。
And the Nyingmapas were the earliest ones.
那后来有转世佛佛。
And then later on, there were also reincarnated tulkus, which started in the Kagyupa. Kagyupa started it.
这个讲个笑话吧。
Let's hear a
爸爸
joke.
姓李，妈
The
妈姓周，
dad's family name is Li,
妈妈生那个
and
双胞
mom's family name is Zhou. Oh, this is only Chinese.
跟这个老爷向爸
And
爸
the mom
提
gave
出
birth to a twin.
给孩子起个名字，
So the grandma suggested the names of the twins.
要求
One
名字
with the family
同一个
name
意思。
Li and the other name with family
于
name
是
Zhou.
今天爸爸
To give
告诉
names
姥
with the
姥
same
跟爷
meaning.
爷，名字取好了，一个叫做周
And
末，
then they told them that one is called weekend.
一个叫做
This is only in
礼拜天。
Chinese. The other one is called Sunday.
这个姥姥跟爷爷无话可说，
So
开
the
了一瓶茅
grandparents
台，
had nothing to say and
语重心
opened
长
a
的
bottle of
祝
Mao Tai
礼拜
liquor
天周末愉快。
and wished Sunday and weekend happy. Yeah.
奇怪，礼拜天跟周末有不一样吗？周末不是礼拜六吗？
But weekend includes Saturday, right?
周末
Is it
是礼拜
Sunday?
六还是礼拜天？
Is weekend Saturday or Sunday?
都可以用啊。
Either way.
昨天跟老婆闹别扭，就在小房间里
Yesterday
面睡觉。
we had an argument
结
with the
果老
wife
婆呢，
and
拿
then
了剪
slept
刀
in a
把
small
蚊
room.
帐剪了一个大洞。
And then the wife took a scissor and cut a big hole of the
做
mosquito
了大概
net
1个小时以
and
后啊，
said,
老婆
let
又
the
拿了
mosquitoes
透
eat
明
you
的
up.
胶带
And an
把
hour
刚刚
later,
剪
the
坏
wife
的
took
蚊帐
a
贴了起来。
transparent tip and then tipped the hole that she
心
just
想老
cut.
婆就是
I was so moved, and I was thinking, oh, the wife was actually very kind, although her speech was very tough.
让老婆自言
And
自语
actually, she still loves me.
蚊子进去
But
的差不
the
多了，
wife quietly
别让
muttered,
他们跑。
the mosquitoes have got in quite a bit, so let's not let them come out. 小明对小美讲：“ 小明
我
told
数学
小
考0
梅
分，那你呢？”
My math is got a score of 0. How about you? And May replied, also 0 for me. And then Ming said, oh no, the teacher would think that we are cheating. The fortune teller told Xiaoming, you will never get a girlfriend in this lifetime. And Ming asked, but Sifu, you haven't even looked at my palms. And the fortune teller said, I know, just by looking at your face. No need to see your palm. Now we'll do the question and answer. Question from Indonesia, Lianhua Guobiao. The unsurpassed precious Guru Buddha, living Buddha Liansheng. Your disciple Lianhua Guobiao from Indonesia asks the following. Ananda asked the Buddha, Buddha, without money or anything, how can one make an offering or perform giving? The Buddha replied, it's no problem. With a little bit of food, and by chanting the mantra to transform the food, Namo Sato Danta Yato Walu Jiti Om Sampala Sampala Hom. The mantra. And before reciting this mantra, first make offerings with the 3 jewels on their behalf. Then all you need to do is recite this transformation mantra while visualizing making offerings with the Buddha. So the Buddha told Ananda that as long as you have food, and before eating it, you make offering to the 3 jewels on their behalf, and afterward, you dedicate the merit to all sentient beings in the 6 rebirth realms, and you take a little bit of the food and give it away to all the hungry ghosts, as numerous as the grains of sand of Ganges River, and all the ghosts will also rise to the heavens. And by doing so, Ananda lived to be 120. So this is the longevity practice that Avalokitesvara taught Ananda. How come it became Avalokitesvara? It was the Buddha. So Buddhism's concept is about compassion. So as a Buddhist disciple, we should be compassionate toward living beings on behalf of the Buddha. So I would like to ask Grandmaster, may we do the same thing before eating, after performing Badu deliverance? We make the grand offering to the 3 roots, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, protectors, and such, and then take a little bit of the rice or food, and then chant the mantra for food transformation, and then give it away. Thank you, Grandmaster, for your compassion. And I pay homage to you 3 times and make offering of my body, speech, and mind to the Buddha. So, I would like to ask this person, Lianhua Guobiao. At first you said the Buddha was speaking, and then Later on, you said it's
这到
Avalokitesvara
底是谁说的？
that was teaching Ananda. So, did Sakyamuni Buddha the same?
有谁读过他所写的这些东西？
It's the same as Avalokitesvara. Anybody have read
哪一本经典？
what he wrote here? Which sutra?
我知道那个课诵本里面有辨识真言，
I know
你们常常
in the
念辨识真言
daily
吗？
daily rituals that you have to do, there's this mantra to transform
念辨识真
food.
言谁念得最好？
Who chanted the best?
对了，辨识真言大家都会念。
Everybody can chant this mantra to transform food.
他怎么讲呢？阿难这么做以后，他活到120岁。
But he wrote that Ananda, after performing this, lived to be 120.
有谁
Did
知道？
Ananda live? How old did Ananda
我
live
要
to?
查一下
Anybody
他问
knows?
的到底是不是真的？
I want to check if his question is accurate. Mm.
这个咒语的由来是不空三藏大师所译的。
The origin of the mantra was the
恶鬼陀罗尼
Amuga
经施实法，
Amuga teacher.
有陀罗尼明夜
The Buddha told
无量
Ananda
威德
that there is a
自在光
Dharani
明殊胜妙
that
力。
is called
若
the
诵此
a
陀罗
radiant
尼者，满七遍，
majestic mantra, and by chanting this Dharani
具
7
底那
times,
由他百千恒
then
河
you
沙
can fill
数的恶鬼
Nayutas
及婆罗门天等
like
上妙
Narut
饮
Ganges
食，
River's
如是
sands,
等众乃至
as many of those
戒得
of hungry ghosts.
阿难前世所作波罗蜜，以观世
And
音菩萨
Ananda
手
did
及
this
世间
Dharani
自在威德如来手，受此陀罗尼地，
at the
能
Avalokitesvara
善
place,
知
and then the
以
Veda
无量
radiant place
及诸仙等种种饮食，令诸恶鬼
can
解
give
脱
all the hungry
苦
ghosts
身，得生天上。阿难，
to be
你
liberated
今受
and
持福德受
rise
印
to the
戒得真
heavens.
常。尔时世尊即
So
为
by
阿难
performing
说
this,
陀罗尼咒。
you would be able to
但没有
expand your
讲
life.
阿难活了几岁？
So the Buddha taught him this Dharani mantra.
不过他这里有提到观世音菩萨，他
It didn't say how
从
old
阿难在
Ananda
过去
lived
世
to, but it mentioned about
做婆
Avalokitesvara
罗门的时候，
that Ananda,
就是
in his past
印
life
度
as a
教的修
Brahmin,
行者，
which is a
在
Hindu
过去世
practitioner,
曾经是印度教的啊
so Ananda in his past
修
life
行者，
was once a Brahmin.
在观世音菩萨的地方，
At
跟世间
Avalokitesvara's
自在
place
威德如来的地方，
and Tathagata
就
of
已经受
the
过这个
majestic self-mastery has received this Dharani.
哦，那这样还讲得过去。过去世
So
他在
now
观
that
世音菩
makes
萨的
sense
地方，
that
跟
in
这
his
个
past
如来的地
life,
方，
at
他
the
已经
place
学过
of
这个咒，
Avalokitesvara and
所以这一世释
Tathagata,
迦牟
he's
尼佛
learned
又教
about this
他
mantra. And then
这一
in
世
that lifetime, Sakyamuni Buddha also taught him.
网络上讲的，
And this is on the internet.
活到120岁
He
才离
lived to
开
be
人间，
120 years old before he left the world.
他说
Wow.
这真的是长寿比乌龟啊！
His life, it says, is longer than the turtle.
这个查到 都有查到资料。那这样他讲的
So
没有错。
that's the information. So what he said was not wrong then.
请问师尊，弟子们可否如此做呢？
So
一般来讲，
Grandmaster,
我们
may your
在密教
disciples
里面
perform the same way?
有很多的这个修行方
Generally
法。
speaking, in Tantric
密教
Buddhism,
的
there
修
are
行方
many
法，第一个
methods
就
of
是持
spiritual
名。
cultivation. The first one is
持名
chanting.
是什么意思？就是持
Chanting.
咒，特别不一样。
Chanting
跟
mantra.
密教有咒，
It's very different
就是
because
持名。
they are
第二个是
mantras
供
in
养。
Tantric Buddhism. Second is
第
making
二个是
offering.
供养。供养就是慈悲六道众生嘛，供养。
Is compassionate
供养
to
十法界，这个就是
sentient
供
beings
养，
of the 6 rebirth realms, to the
这
10
就是
Dharma
很好的方
realms.
法。
These are
第
all
三个
wonderful
就是
methods.
三摩地，入
And the
三
third
摩
one is to enter
地。密教
samadhi.
的三个根本，
These are the
持
3
名，
roots in Tantric
供养，
Buddhism.
入三摩地。
Chanting
供养也就是一种布施了，
until
是
chanting,
人都可以做的。啊，平时我们吃
making
东西也
offering
不
is the
先
same as giving,
先
and
超度，
everybody can do.
然后再
Before
供
we
养。
eat, we always perform Bardo
我们本身
deliverance
在
and
吃
then
东西
making
就是这个
offering.
样子。吃
That's how
三
we
餐
are.
就等于
Before
十
we
法界
take
都
our
在吃，
meals 3 times a
是
day, it's the same
这个
as
是
the
在供
10 Dharma realms are eating
一般的寺
together,
庙，
and
它
that's
是有
offering.
这个五供啊，五
At
供的时
the
候
typical
中午
temples,
时间
they
中
have
午供
noon
的时候
offering.
都要念这个咒语，
When they make an offering at noontime,
那个
they
是
would
辨识
chant
真
the
言，
sutra, the
这个
sutra
由
for
少
food
变
transformation
成很多，
from a little bit to become
那这样
numerous
子
or
做这种
boundless.
供养可以延寿，
So
可以
by
延长
making
寿命。
such offering, you
这
can
也是
extend
释
your
迦牟尼佛讲
lifespan.
的，
This
也
was
是观世音
spoken
菩
by
萨讲的，
Sakyamuni Buddha,
也是
also
一个
by
如来
Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva,
讲过的。
and also a Tathagata.
那么阿难呢，在观世音菩萨的地
So
方，
Ananda, at the place of
Yes, yeah,
Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, also
so-
learned this
过去
mantra in
在
his past
如来
life.
的一个佛所也学
At
了
the，place of a Tathagata, he
现
also
在释
learned
迦
this
牟尼佛
mantra.
又告诉他这
And
个咒
then
语
in this lifetime, Sakyamuni Buddha also taught
他
him
没有
this
注
mantra.
明很清楚，那是过去
He
世
didn't
观世
say
音
it in details that it was past life
那
that
过去世的
Avalokitesvara told
那个
Ananda.
一个如来的佛所，他也学了这个咒语。
And
现在是
also
释
at
迦
the
牟尼
place
佛
of the
又教
Tathagata.
他这个咒语，
And then in the recent life, Sakyamuni
念
Buddha
的
also
辨
taught
识
him.
咒可以供养所有的
And then you
四
can
圣
make offering to the
六
3 jewels,
十法界。
to the 4 sixthly, and then
以
3
前我念一个咒语啊，叫大鹏金翅鸟，旷野鬼神众，
3
罗刹
60.
鬼子女，甘
So
露续充满。
the Garuda
那也
and
是
Yaksas,
一个供养
Hariti,
水的方法，
and all
把这个
wandering
水化
ghosts.
成甘露，然后就是供
And
养
that's the way to make offering
也把食物
of water,
也可以这样子
transform the
大鹏金翅
water
鸟
into
旷野鬼神众，罗刹
nectar
鬼祖母，甘露续
the
充满。
golden winged bird and wandering
念咒
ghosts, Hariti and
唵目的
Yaksas.
所
May
哈
you be
唵
filled
目
with
的所哈唵目的
with
所
sweet
哈
nectars.
这就
And
是
then the
变
mantra
甘露
Om
水
Mudti Soha, Om
方
Mudti
法。
Soha, Om Mudti Soha. That's the way to
我们平时
transform
吃饭就
into the
就已
nectar
经在供
water.
养了，三餐都是。
But generally, when we
每吃一
take
样
our
东西就要
meals,
供
that's the
养。
same as offering. Every time we eat something, we would make an offering.
那么弟子们不可以这样子做呢？当然
So
可以。
can your
应该讲
disciples
起来当然
perform
可以一般来
this?
讲是
Of
寺
course,
庙武供的时候，大家在做武供的时候，
because generally
它
at the
是有这
temples,
边先供三宝，然后
when
再
you
出门
perform
外。
the offering first, you make offering to the 3 jewels, and then you walk out of the door, and then make offering to all
那
the
你要供
ghosts
养
and
也是一
spirits.
样可以。
So if you want to
一般是
perform
寺
the
庙在
offering,
做
yes, you can.
武供的寺庙武供在做
But，the noon offering
那就
usually
想
is
要供
performed by the
当然也
temples.
是好。
But if you also
要
want to
养成
offer,
恒
of
心
course
啊。
that's good. But the the constancy
你就
is
可以长
important.
寿了。
Then you can live a long
这
life.
就是布施。好，
This is
也就是供
called
养。
generosity
我们很
and
多供养
offering.
法，
We have many practices to make offering.
我认为是可以的。
In my opinion, you can.
弟子个人想要做念辨识真言，
That
或者是
an
从
individual disciple
供养
would like to
坛城的
perform
再到外面
the
供养
transformation
为
of
神众
food.
都可以。
First, you make offering to the deities on the altar, and then you walk out and make offerings to the ghosts and gods and spirits. That would do.
这个是不太合乎逻辑的。
This
他
is
讲
quite
熬
illogical.
夜会令人变丑，
Staying up all night
但如
will
果
make
本来就
people
丑
to
的
become
话，
ugly, but
还
if
是
you're
可以
already
放心
ugly,
熬夜。
then you can
你说这个
continue
合逻辑吗？
staying up at nights.
熬夜有时候身体会变不好。
Staying up all night sometimes is bad for the body.
妻子很关心的对丈夫讲：“老公啊，你
The
近来
wife
老
was
是
very
讲乱话，
caring and told the
要不要我陪
husband,
你去医院检查一
You've
下
been
身体？”
talking in your sleep recently.
丈夫非常的
Can I take you to the
经常地
hospital
回答
and have it
不
checked?
用。如果
And the
医
husband
生
was very
给
anxious.
我
Said, No,
治
no,
好
no
了
need,
这个
no
毛
need.
病，
Because if
那
the
么我在
doctor
家
cured
里
me of this,
连这一点发言权都没
then
有，
I have no right of speech at home at all.
也算是发言权。这当然是笑话了。
So it's a joke that talking in your sleep is considered a right of speech.
今天去乡下拜访客户，因为路不熟，途中转弯的时候，不幸撞死了一只大
Today
公猪。
I
连
went
忙
to
下
the
车向
village,
这个大公猪的主人道歉，
and
请你别
because
难过，一切我会负
was
责。
careless and I hit
大公
into
猪的主
a
人回
boar,
答：“你如何负
and then
责
I
呢？
apologized to the
他
owner
一
of the
天
boar
能跟十
and
几头母猪配种，
and said, I'm really
你能
sorry
吗？
that I hit, can I? And then, but how can you be responsible for him? Because he could mate with over 10 pigs, and can you?
这个在美国不太可能发生吧？哈，在乡下的地方，在 在东方啊，养
It's
猪，
rather
乡下
improbable
地方养
to
猪的
happen in
才有
America.
可能发生。
It only happens in the villages where they raise pigs.
老公刚要睡觉，
The husband just got to
突
sleep.
然有火警的警报声响起，
All of a sudden, the
老公
siren
马
of the
上抱
alarm
着枕头
went
往
off,
外冲了出去。
and the husband took the pillow and ran out of the door.
他
And the wife was very calm.
小明把
And
手
shouted
机的警报声关掉。
Xiaoming,
我知
turn
道
off
你
the
爸爸的
siren
私
of
房
your
钱
cell
藏在
phone.
哪里了？
Now I know
原来是
where
藏
his
在
money is. It's inside his
跑
pillow.
的时候抱着枕头。
Because when he ran, he carried the pillow.
好，我们讲维摩诘经。
Now we will expound the Vimalakirti Sutra.
善德菩萨对释迦牟尼佛讲，
The Bodhisattva of good
维摩诘
virtue
讲这个
told
法的时候，
Sakyamuni Buddha,
当时的婆罗门众中
when
有200
Vimalakirti
个人
spoke this Dharma,
揭发
The Brahmins and all 200 people generated the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. What this means is the spiritual cultivators, the Hindu practitioners who are called Brahmins, about 200 people generated the mind for enlightenment. So the good virtue Bodhisattva said, at that time, my mind attained an unprecedented purity. After hearing Vimalakirti spoke the Dharma, he felt that his mind became very pure. And he understood that Dharma, that giving Dharma is more important than giving money, because money is limited in terms of time and space. But giving Dharma, once it's listened to, it would be beneficial forever. So at that time, the good virtue Bodhisattva attained the purity of the mind that's unprecedented. And therefore, he paid homage to Vimalakirti's feet. So that's the custom in India, to pay homage to a sage. And then the Bodhisattva unfastened necklaces worth hundreds and thousands in value and offered it to Vimalakirti. But Vimalakirti declined to accept it. And the Bodhisattva told Vimalakirti, please accept this gift and use it as you like. Please accept it. And then, whether you want to give to whoever, so Vimalakirti did not want to accept the necklace. And good virtue Bodhisattva told Vimalakirti, please accept it, but it's up to you how you want to give it away. And thereafter, Vimalakirti accepted the offering of the necklace and divided it into two parts. He gave one part to the lowliest beggars in the gathering. He divided into two parts. They were all very expensive. So he gave one part to the lowliest beggars in the feast offering gathering. And the other part, he offered it to the Tathagata, named difficult to surpass. Strange, there was a Tathagata there. That means everywhere there is a Tathagata. Vimalakirti manifested transcendent power, and Tathagata difficult to surpass appeared. And he came from the radiant Buddhaverse, a radiant Pure Land. who came to this gathering.
很少人能够看得到这个
At
光
first,
明世界
very few
这个
people
男生
could
如来
see
以摩羯
difficult
神通力
to surpass the Tathagata
把
and
这
the
个璎珞
radiant
供养给
Buddhaverse.
男圣如来。
But Vimalakirti manifested
这
transcendent
时候
power
在
to
场
offer
的
a part of the necklace
大
to the
众
Tathagata.
都看到光明国土的男圣如来，
So everyone in the assembly
在
saw
场的所有的人都看到，哇，
the
这个光明世界的
Tathagata
男圣如来出现，
difficult to surpass of the
这是维摩诘
radiant
的神通。
Buddhaverse. That's due to the transcendent power of
又看
Vimalakirti.
到这个璎珞
They
在这
also
个
saw the necklace
男圣如来的身
on
上
that
变成四柱
Tathagata
宝台，
change
四面严
into a
肃，不
stage
相障碍。
with 4 pillars laden with jewels on the 4 sides
这个
without
璎珞
interference with
就
each
变
other.
了，变成什么？四个宝
So the
柱
necklace
宝台
changed
啊，宝
into a
宝
precious
台就
stage
是四个宝台，而且就是很
For
庄严的装饰，不相
pillars
张，不相张
beautifully
障碍，
ornamented
就是没有障碍，
without any
无空
hindrances,
间的，没有空间的障碍。
no
光明
interference
世界的
or
四个宝台
hindrances
起来
from
的时候，
the spatial
跟娑
dimension.
婆世界也不互相障碍，都不互相障碍。
So this Buddhaverse
这个时候，维
does
摩
not
诘
interfere with the
变
Sahavu.
现神变以作誓言，他已经做了这个
Upon
神变，
manifesting
一份
such
供养给
supernatural
这个
power,
最下贱的乞丐，一份
which is one
供养
part offered to the
最
lowliest
高的佛
beggars,
男圣
and the
光
other
明
part
世界的男
offered
圣如来，
to the highest
然
kind
后
of Buddha,
男圣如来又把它
the
变成
Tathagata
四个
difficult
宝
to
台
surpass of the
庄严
radiant Buddhaverse,
庄严这个
which
世界
was transformed into 4 beautiful ornamented stages.
然后维摩诘又讲话了，若
Then
施主
Vimalakirti
等
said,
心施一最下乞人，
if
所有的
any
人
benefactor with the
你
mind of
如果
equality gives to the
供养一
lowliest
个
beggars
的供养一个最下乞人、最贫贱的乞丐，犹如
Make
如来福田
offering
之像无所
to
分
the
别。
lowliest beggars will be
这句话，
endowed.
大家都不太清
Any
楚。
benefactor with the mind of equality
你供
gives to
养
the
一个
lowliest
乞丐，
beggars.
最下
You may
贱的
not
乞
understand
丐，
this part. If you make an
跟供
offering
养
to
一
the
个男
lowliest
圣如来，
beggar and make an offering with the
福报，
Tathagata
福田呢？
difficult to surpass,
如来的福田之相无所分别。
will be endowed
分别
with
的。
the same field of blessings without any distinction.
这一句话就很厉害了，告诉大家哦，
This
你
statement
供养
is
一个乞丐，跟
incredible.
供养最高的
Make
如
an
来，
offering to a
他的功德
beggar
是相等。
and to make an offering to the highest Tathagata generate the same merit. This is spoken by Vimalakirti.
为什么会相等？
How come it's equal?
其实，我告诉大家，
No, let me tell you.
如果在心、
If
佛、众生
the mind,
三无差别来
Buddhas
讲，
and sentient beings are
众生
equal
跟佛
in terms
根
of
本
the
就没有差
equality between
你
mind,
供养
sentient
如
beings
来
and Buddhas. There is
跟
no
供
difference
养
between
一
the
个众
sentient
生
being and the Buddha.
同样的功德，
So making
那
an
众
offering
生
to
啊，
a sentient being
是
and to a
在
Buddha
迷中的如来，
generate the same merit.
男圣如来
Because a sentient
是
being is a
悟
deluded Tathagata. And the Tathagata difficult to surpass is a Tathagata who has been enlightened. A sentient being is a deluded Tathagata. When a Tathagata is deluded, he is called a sentient being, and the Buddha natures are equal. That's why we say that the mind, sentient beings, and the Buddha are the same and equal.
This
statement is incredible. Typically, we say we make offerings to the Buddhas. Why do we want to make offerings to the sentient beings? Actually, both generate the same merit. You make an offering to a sentient being, make offering to a hungry ghost. It's the same as making offering to the Buddha. So you make offering to the lowliest person is the same as making an offering to the Buddha, because the lowliest person is also a Buddha. They also have a Buddha nature, but they have not enlightened yet. They have not been enlightened. They have not understood. Once they understood, once they understand, they are all the same. That's the meaning here. So Vimalakirti knew. So it is equivalent to great loving kindness without asking for anything in return. So like now, when we give, we don't ask for rewards. When you give without being mindful of giving, it also exists in Christianity. As I often say, Jesus said, do not let the left hand know the good deeds the right hand is doing. So that means you do it without keeping it in your mind. You just do good deeds without asking for anything. So this is called a loving kindness and compassion equally to all. 同体大悲。So you treat everyone equally.
无言大慈，就是说对没有言的，你一样是慈悲他。
So you are compassionate to those, to everyone, with or without affinity. Everyone is the same.
同体大慈悲嘛。
Great compassion to all equally.
等于大悲不求果报。
So it is equivalent to great loving kindness without asking for anything in return. This would be called a proper Dharma offering.
法的布施。
A real Dharma offering.
城中一最下乞人。
These lowliest beggars in the city,
最贫贱的那个乞丐啊，看到这种神通的变化
upon seeing the supernatural manifestation and hearing his speech, all generated the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi.
就发起了这个道心。故我不认。
Therefore, I am unqualified to fulfill your request to visit him. I, meaning the good virtue Bodhisattva, cannot lead the Sangha to visit Vimalakirti. He felt that he was unqualified. to visit and inquire about his illness. In this manner, each of the bodhisattvas told the Buddha about their encounters with Vimalakirti. They all said, "Oh, I can't go." Another bodhisattva also said, "No, I can't." Relate what Vimalakirti said, and therefore unable to fulfill the Buddha's request to inquire him about his illness. All the bodhisattvas said, "Sorry, we can't." And the 10 great disciples too were unable to do so, and including all the bodhisattvas too. They could not go. So it showed that Vimalakirti, the Jinsu Tathagata, has unhindered eloquence, that he has reprimanded everyone, all of the 10 great disciples, including all the bodhisattvas. So this does not refer to Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva is perfectly enlightened. And then Jinli Tathagata is also perfectly enlightened with fruition. So Vimalakirti has attained fruition. And then these bodhisattvas were on the superficial levels or lower levels, not the absolute bodhisattvas with at the higher levels. But the bodhisattvas at the lower levels have not been perfectly enlightened, although they are also called bodhisattvas. And bodhisattva, the Buddha Dharma is divided into imperfect bodhisattvas and the perfect bodhisattvas. So you need to understand this too. So some are authoritative and some are real. So perfect and imperfect, I suppose. So if it's not perfectly or completely enlightened, it's called Quan Fa or and then if relating to the perfectly and completely enlightened ones, that's called the real or the true Dharma. So talking about all the bodhisattvas, it doesn't talk about the real bodhisattvas, the perfectly enlightened bodhisattva. But Manjushri Bodhisattva could. Why? Because he's different from the imperfect bodhisattva. Because Manjushri Bodhisattvas in the past life was the dragon clan perfect Buddha. So Manjushri Bodhisattva is the Bodhisattva with the greatest wisdom. So next, Sakyamuni Buddha sent Manjushri Bodhisattva, which is the Longzong was also a Buddha, and Vimalakirti was a Tathagata in their past lives. And Manjushri with great wisdom, and Vimalakirti has unhindered eloquence. Of course, they would generate spark. And this is the most important part of the Vimalakirti Sutra. And then tomorrow we will continue to talk about Chapter 5, Manjushri's visit. Only the perfectly enlightened Manjushri Bodhisattva could bring the group to visit Vimalakirti. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
非常感